everyone. Welcome to SportsKhabri. With me are Adi and Rishi. Yeah, this topic's been overdue for a while. I think it's something that we have to discuss. Lionel Messi is he's won his second Copa America. He's got a World Cup to his name. He's won the Champions League with Barcelona. He's won a bunch of La Liga titles. I think it's time to sort of finally ask the question: is it now the perfect time for Lionel Messi to call it a day in international football? Rishi is 37, 2 years away from the World Cup. He's already won the World Cup, and many would have thought after this World Cup itself, he would sort of say, you know what, thank you, but he didn't. So we still think there's a chance that he could play the next World Cup. He'd be 39. But yeah, dude, do you think it's the perfect time for him to say, you know what, that's enough for me because he's done a fair bit. He's won everything that he could in international football at least. What do you think?
I mean, if you were to ask me a perfect time to, say goodbye to the national team, you couldn't have asked for a better, moment than the World Cup final. Like, that was like, his defining moment. That was all that was left for him to conquer football, as like, a lot of people say. Like, after that, what else is left? Because he had already won the Copa, he had already won the World Cup, and the difference is he was not just a passenger in either of the tournaments. Like the 2020 Copa America, he was, if I'm not wrong, he was a player of the tournament, and even in this World Cup, he won the Golden Ball. So not just them winning, he was actually a huge factor. He was like the deciding factor in him, winning both the tournaments. So it would have been the perfect fairy tale win for him. I mean, fairy tale goodbye for him if he were to bid adieu after the World Cup final. But I think for me, when you say, I feel the right moment for a player to say goodbye from the national team is, see, of course, club football is entirely different from national teams. For national team, it's all about how you can influence or have a positive impact for your nation. And
Correct.
I think that, like, you have to take a call when you personally feel, and of course when you have a sense that, okay, the team can do better without me, or if I'm bringing something to the table that the team really needs, then it's fine to go on. But the minute I feel like the team can do better without me, or the team, I'm holding the team back in any sort of sense, that is when I feel international players, you either ought to take a call or they do take a call then. And I think up to
He's
this
not
point,
holding. He's not holding Argentina back, right?
I'm saying in general. I'm just saying in
Yeah, I
general.
know, I understand, I understand. But for
And
Messi,
exactly, I was coming to that. I was saying up to this point, I don't think Messi has done either of that. Like,
okay,
he's been either the biggest influencing factor in a positive sense, or probably the top three, maybe him, Emi Martinez, or Di Maria. It's always been one of these three. And I think this Copa America was the first time where you could say that he didn't have the greatest, or he wasn't, maybe if not the best, or even the top three players of the tournament. Because I felt both the centre backs, Emi Martinez, Lautaro Martinez, Di Maria, uh, and who else was there? Alvarez, Rodrigo De Paul, all had a better tournament. So I think
hmm,
this first time since he made his debut for his national team that I felt okay, Messi was not probably even in the top five. So it makes a lot more sense now, that before he completely transforms into a liability where the team has to carry him thorough, like he has to depend on the team to bail him out of situations like that you've seen for
like what's
yourself, like,
happening with Ronaldo.
exactly, that's a lot of cases where the team would perform outright better without you, or a long-term project can be made without you, but you're just hindering it. And I feel Messi is about to enter that phase, so it makes sense that he retires sooner than later.
Are the perfect time for you? That
Yeah,
he's
but
going to call it a day.
if I'm looking as a fan, obviously we would want him to, play as long as he can, right? To be fair, he's won everything in international tournament. I mean, international trophies wise, he's won everything from the Olympics to the World Cup. He's
Correct.
won everything, anyways.
Yeah.
In terms of that, I don't think he has anything to prove. But I think, see, for him, it's more of he's in the MLS right now. He also told in after he won the Copa America, he was like, he's fighting for his
His
last place.
final days are coming, is what he
Exactly.
said.
Yeah, and see, I don't know what that means by is it for Argentina? I would presume it's for Argentina because again, it's more about motivation for him. Like, what is there to play for in the international for you to do anything? Like, if we had a conversation where he didn't win the World Cup, he has not won a Copa America, maybe then it would have been different. Maybe two things would have happened. He would have already retired, saying, "Okay, this thing is just not for me," or maybe he would have still been pushing himself, trying to win one. But at this moment, as a third party point of view, there's nothing for me. Even from uh, as a neutral point, like for me, I would didn't say what is the motivation for you to play, right? And see, the thing is, as you guys said, like even with Ronaldo, even with Messi, or any pivotal figure in a nation, right? Like even if they don't retire, or if they're not sorry, not retire, if they're not in the best form, if they're not in their best, space of your footballing days, form, whatever you want to call it, their presence in the national camp is always going to help a lot because if you still have see if Messi thinks he can't play his best, if Messi thinks he's not able to give his best for the national team, but if you still have Messi around your international camp, if you have him in the camp, national camp, whatever it is, it's always going to give motivation for the younger generation to come up. He can also guide these guys, right? Because he doesn't need to sit there and play to make them better. He can just his presence, just his the way he showcases his talent in the training, maybe his professionalism, maybe giving insight to the young generation because Argentina don't need to come through that. And he's already done it, to be fair. The way he's picked up players like Alvarez, like Enzo Fernandez, the same players when they play for the club, they're not the greatest compared to the way they play for Argentina. You can see how there's a huge difference there itself. You know, that is, and I believe this entire team has been built on Messi because you look at Portugal. I think that Portugal side, if you just want to take a comparative comparison, because at the end of the day, we always compare Messi, Ronaldo, right? You take a Portugal, I think that team has always been based. They already have a lot of senior players, a lot of already players who won a lot of trophies. You look at Ruben Diaz, you look at Pepe, you look at Bernardo Silva, to an extent, even Bruno Fernandes, they already have that stature of footballing, ability and that fame, clout, whatever you want to call it. But the thing with Portugal side is they don't depend on Ronaldo. They depend more on the coach. They depend on all the players to come together. But you look at Argentina, I think this Argentina team plays for Messi, and it's like the current crop, the entire team's motive is to make Messi win the World Cup, make Messi win the second Copa America. At least that's what it feels like. Obviously, they have their own motives. Obviously, they want to represent the country and win it regardless. But having Messi gives that extra motivation, and I think if you keep him around maybe for another 2 years, and if Messi can also just contribute in terms of being around the international camp, being around the young players, they're going to still play for him no matter what. If he's not playing, if he's still on the bench, I think having Messi gives that extra motivation compared to what I've seen through other international teams, right?
Interesting. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. And okay, that's with regards to international football, but he's got a contract at Inter Miami till December 2025, Rishi. And at the pace, the way it's going, do you see him finishing his club career there? I think it's a year
Yeah,
and a half away.
if I'm not wrong, he
He said
stated.
Inter Miami will be his last club, but he's
Yeah,
not
exactly.
confirmed whether he'll extend or not.
Yeah, exactly. So he pretty much stated that Inter Miami is going to be his last club, and if he were to stay for another World Cup, which is also happening in US, I don't think it could have been a better situation for both the parties. So even if his aim is to play the 2026 World Cup, the fact that he is able to still stay in the US, he's able to play in the US artificial turf pitches or the different pitches that are eventually going to be used for the World Cup. He's going to get accustomed to the conditions over there. I think
The World Cup, they have to relay to grass.
Yeah, they can't use artificial.
they can't use
FIFA
artificial turf.
No, FIFA has their
Okay,
own.
right. So the very fact that he's gonna be in that environment, he's gonna be in the country, he's gonna spend a lot more time over there makes just sense that he extends with Inter Miami, even at least if not
for a few till the World Cup.
if not for another maybe 2 years, maybe another short 6 month contract or another contract. Because see, for Inter Miami, it's definitely there's no loss in it because they are making a lot more money through his sponsorship deals, through his shirt sales than them having to pay to keep him. So for Inter Miami, it's a no-brainer. It's just a matter of whether Messi really wants to stay and push for that 2026 World Cup. And like Ari said, like this whole crop of players are literally, they all grew up they all grew up watching this Argentina team go through the disappointments of 2014, of 2018, of the different Copas, because like even in the World Cup, I think Rodrigo De Paul was saying after every game, after every team huddle in the team bus, the chants were all about dreaming of winning the World Cup with Messi. And even in the final, when Messi came off injured, Paredes was saying like the minute Messi came off, the whole motive, the whole determination just went up a notch to win it for him. And he didn't even want to look to the left, because if he saw Messi, he would get sad. That's the kind of feeling or like camaraderie that this team has been built for Messi, or Messi has the relationship with these players. And I don't see a lot other international footballers or footballers getting such level of love and respect. Like I can't think of another footballer who's gotten such level of love from his teammates. That they're willing to go to war for him. They're willing to put their bodies on the line for one player. So it makes a lot of sense that he extends, at least for the environment, at least for the long run, for this Argentinian.
Yeah, but I think it's time we start asking the question. I can really imagine a team without Ronaldo in Portugal. I think I can see that happening. I can see. We already saw it. We saw Gonzalo Ramos play a few games during the World Cup, and it didn't feel too odd. But I don't know why. But I just can't imagine the Argentina team without Messi. Like that's an even weirder feeling. I think that's I don't know, so alien. Adi, like, what do you think it'll be like for them when Messi does end his career? They've already lost one in Di Maria. If they lose Messi in the near future, it'll be weird. We're having not having those two big senior players around.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest question because, as we've already mentioned, I think this, as even Rishi said, because this entire Argentina team, even from the coach, from their entire team, from their own football association, it's all around Messi. Without Messi, we've never seen Argentina survive over the past, you can say, 15 years. In terms of previous World Cup, whenever they went through, it was always Messi. Coming now also winning the World Cup, winning two Copa Americas has always been Messi. And we spoke about how the entire team plays for Messi, how the entire team has also been built up around Messi, because at the end of the day, this team is built on how let's work hard without the ball for Messi, which other teams don't do. You know what I mean? And secondly, when Messi has the ball, let's make sure we give some form of runs, some form of anything for him to supply. So it's always going to be something where Messi is the heart of that team. Now you take out Messi out of this team, what happens next? You can't replace Messi. That's the whole point. We saw how Barcelona struggled for 2 years without Messi. We spoke about Barcelona being creative, being attacking football, possession football, but without Messi, they were still toothless. They looked so bland. And it's going to be the same thing with Argentina, because with at least Barcelona, you can always go into the transfer market, do anything you want. But with Argentina, it's about getting the talents out of your country, right? No doubt they have, good talents in terms of, at least right now, they have decent attacking players, right? But you look at the team, do you think they have a creator like Messi? I don't think they do. With Di Maria going out, they're losing another experienced player in who's always showed a lot of experience for the country. So you're losing two important players anyways. But if Messi goes, that's the thing for me. It's always like, how are they going to adapt with the whole point of having no creativity from a certain point, and then magic? Because you look at these players, do you guys think like any other guy can create what Messi does? And when we think and when we see and say, okay, no, there's no other player right now in Argentina who can do this, you have to start questioning how future of Argentina football is going to be without Messi. In terms of, then there's going to be a lot of pressure on the coach to create maybe new systems, create new superstars, whatever it is, to ensure that team doesn't lose the standards they've already built. Because you see Argentina over the past four finals, they won all their four finals. They haven't lost a game. I don't know when was the last time they lost a game, basically, apart from the Uruguay friendly.
Saudi
in in,
Arabia.
in tournament. Yeah, that was the last time they lost, and also
In
in
tournament
terms of,
football, yeah. They lost the
yeah,
qualifier.
and all
Won,
the
they
finals.
won the most.
Yeah, and all the knockout stages, all the finals they played, they won it since the Copa America in 2020. They played four finals, they won four finals, and they're going to play another final next year. So the whole question comes to how will Argentina look at football after Messi? Because we've always seen this in every country, in every this thing where every sport where, like, when a country or when a team loses one of their major icons, like we saw with United when Alex Ferguson left. He was what Man United are today. Same with Arsenal. With when Arsene Wenger left, you saw how dull they were in a certain amount of years. So you're always going to find that uh, lack of presence, the lack of motivation. So that's my question. Like, I don't know how Argentina is going to, go forward without Messi. Because let me be honest, without Messi, I don't think this team works well. Because at the end of the day, these players are not as good as how they showcase for Argentina when they do for Argentina. Because you guys tell me, with the footballers they have, like, would you guys ever go into a tournament with Otamendi and feel like, okay, these guys can win the World Cup? I
No,
would have never.
I get what you're saying. Like, I think I still
Yeah.
don't think without Messi, it does look a little dull,
And I
especially
think,
that midfield.
yeah, and not even that. I think even Martinez, the keeper, the reason he's become what he is, that monster he is for Argentina, is because of that Messi. Like, he literally is like, bro, you see him. He's like, I just want to win for Messi. I don't care about anything else.
Yeah,
That
yeah, that's
motivation,
true.
the amount of motivation that players have that gives them, that's where maybe why Martinez is goes crazy in penalty shootouts, because every penalty he's trying to save, it's like, I want to save it for Messi. And the thing is going to go away when Messi leaves, at least to an
True.
extent, because maybe the team is in some form of, for example, in a World Cup, in a knockout stage, they don't have Messi and they're in some deep trouble. Then you look up, you don't have Messi. And when you don't have that, you might always feel a bit more less motivated or less confident, etc. And as good as Argentina is, playing for Messi, in long term, maybe it can also affect them, on the other way around, where, like, the higher they went with Messi, they might go lower without Messi. Like, we can never say that. But that just worries me without Messi being in that Argentinian,
See, it
squad.
works. It works both ways because, like, from say 2010, like going into any, or 2008, going into any tournament, the coaches who have been for Argentina, they all have Lionel Messi. Like, when you have a Lionel Messi, you're not gonna look for a lot more of tactical flexibility, or a system that is not reliant upon Messi, right? Like, you have an obvious answer of Lionel Messi. You're obviously going to try and create a system around him that benefits him. Like, whether it was successful, whether it was not, that's a different question. And a lot of times it has been down to him. Like, I remember in 2014 World Cup, the opening goal, I think against Iran, it was a stoppage time winner from outside the box. Lionel Messi had to curl it. In 2022 World Cup, it was against Mexico. I think it was Messi outside the box. In Netherlands, the game, it was him. It was a moment of magic where he just set up. Was it Molina? Was it
Molina,
the
Molina.
yeah, Molina? That angle was nowhere. Like, these are the things you can't coach, and to a certain extent, these coaches haven't had to go ahead and think out of the box, because yeah, you have an obvious blueprint that is Lionel Messi. You just try and bring pieces in and around it to make it work.
Yeah,
And I feel the biggest challenge now is going to be that when that engine is not there, how are you going to make the car move? How are you going to make this whole machine function without that engine right there? And I feel Argentina, to be honest, were trying to do it for a while, because this 2022 World Cup, they wanted to take, apparently, this Giovanni Lo Celso was or is the eventual successor for Messi's spot, that is the free roaming creative role. They wanted to take him for the World Cup, but in the last minute he got injured, and like, so he was supposed to apparently rotate with Messi. He was supposed to be given minutes so that he can eventually come into the role. And in the finals, in the Copa finals, also when Messi was injured, it was Lo Celso who stepped up and played that number 10 role. I think he was the one who set up Lautaro Martinez as well. But how effective is he? Like, dude, it's going to be nearly impossible to replicate what arguably the best player to ever play the game is going to do. Like, you're not gonna just take the ball and ping it to the top left, bottom right corners every now and then. But at least this was their plan, and I felt when I was reading it, when I was watching videos, I felt okay that it's not going to be simple to try and replace like for like with another player, but okay, they are trying to do something, but whether it actually works is an entirely different story.
100%, dude. And I think, like you mentioned Lo Celso, bro, the guy doesn't even start for Spurs. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I
going to
mean,
be
he's been
challenging.
sent out on loan for Villarreal. Apparently, he had a good spell in
Exactly.
Villarreal. So that's
Yeah.
again, he's not as consistent. He's not as regular. And dude, you're talking about different gulf of quality. Like, anyone who
Exactly,
compares
exactly.
to Messi is gonna fall short. So it's all about how you can step up the
Yeah.
team around him to create a similar,
Yeah,
like,
he play. Yeah, he did play for Spurs last season. He was on loan at Villarreal for I think 2 seasons. So
hmm.
yeah, during the 2021-22 season and the 2022-23 season. But anyways, that it is what it is. I think you as a fan you'd want to start. You wouldn't want to, but you'd have to start thinking of life without Messi. Guys, let us know whether you think it's time that he calls it a day, or should he wait till the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Yep, like and share the video, subscribe to SportsKhabri, and until next time, we'll see you.